Hello, welcome back. Welcome to Let's Talk Sports with Rick and Jack. Hello, Jack.
Hey, Rick.
How are you, my brother?
Wonderful.
Everything good?
Can't complain.
Good week?
Yes, sir.
New month?
New month.
In this month, we get a lot of basketball.
A lot of basketball. This is one of my favorite months of the year, March Madness. The only thing that's in little limbo right now is some of these conferences that are going to do a conference tournament. But I
Can't blame them.
But these conference tournaments is usually where I pick my winners, and I'm following certain teams, and hey, this team can do some damage based on how they're playing in these conference tournaments to eventually, when it comes down to the field of 64. So I'm gonna miss it, but nonetheless,
There's enough.
it's March
There's
Madness.
enough conference tournaments between, women and men, and I like to watch the women's side of the NCAA, and I enjoy teams like North Carolina State, and of course UConn and Louisville, and Notre Dame. Some of these teams are great. Of course South Carolina. So the women's side is good, but in both men and women, you really got UConn dominating right now. They got some great players, UConn. They were talking about this kid, I think you say her name, Beaker. She's a freshman. And they were saying last night on one of the TV shows that if she was going for the NBA draft, if they had the WNBA women's draft, right now she would be drafted number 1. Freshman. Unbelievable. Have you seen her play?
Yes, and
Unbelievable, right?
yes.
Leader.
But
freshman, my God. She's great.
But that just shows how much of a coach Gino is, because you have basically for the last 10, 15 years a dominant UConn team, and they keep getting the best players over and over. So the best players want to play with the best coaches, and they want to be, I guess, challenged. And here she is. And I can honestly say, I don't think we've seen anything yet with her. I think there's so much more to see with her.
Averaging 20 points a game. And, it's funny, I listened to Gino about 2 months ago when the season started. He says, we're terrible. We can't rebound. We can't shoot. And now I watch
he doesn't sugarcoat nothing.
Game last night, and I'm watching the offensive rebounds and the putbacks, and I'm like, Gino got in their heads. But, there's some great coaches on the women's side. The lady down at Stanford is the winningest coach ever.
Yes.
That's a great program.
Which they're ranked number 4 right now.
South Carolina. The big boys have been losing. But UConn keeps winning. Now North Carolina State is back up to 2, and they've beaten the number 1 twice. So it's going to be fun. And on the men's side, as you know, Baylor lost.
They dropped to number 3.
Yeah.
In the ranks this week.
Michigan moved up to number 2.
So
and Gonzaga continues to play nobody. St. Mary's, San Francisco, Pacific.
But they're winning. They're doing what they're
Malibu,
supposed to do.
So come on, man. I don't know you. How good is Gonzaga? I mean, tell me, how good is Gonzaga? Who do they play? Do you see the Big 12 basketball every week? Every game, you got to play somebody that's ranked. Big 10, the winner will come out of the Big 10 or the Big 12. Mark my words. And we're going to have a tournament show, by the way. Don't miss it. But the winner will come out of the Big 12 or the Big 10.
And the reason why he's saying that is because in the top 25 right now, the Big 10 has, I believe, 7 ranked teams in the top 25. They are loaded. That's a conference championship I would love to see.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that the leader generally every year, Michigan State, they're in the middle of the pack. But they upset some of the better teams. But I mean, like Iowa is an incredible team. They've lost 5-6 games. They got that Garza kid who is unbelievable. You look at Michigan, the way they're playing. Illinois, Ohio State's been faltering lately.
But they're still ranked in the top 25.
Still capable.
So speaking of the top 25, and we're talking about the bubble supposed to be coming up later on this month. The popular teams that we're usually talking about, the Dukes, the North Carolinas.
Yeah, Michigan State.
The talk right now is they're on the bubble to make it to the 64.
Michigan State is on the bubble.
Duke is on.
So is North Carolina.
These are the usual suspects to be the number 1 seed in their division. Where it's like, wow.
Yeah, and you look at Kansas. I mean, again, always in the conversation. They've lost several games. I think 7 games, but they started picking up. And it's funny. in picking it up, they really beat up on Baylor this week. And that was interesting to watch because that game was a blowout. And Kansas really put it to them, and it showed me a lot of vulnerability with Baylor. So, you know, it's funny. Like USC basketball, we were talking about them a couple weeks ago. Man, they're looking good. They got a good ball club. They're up to 17. They've lost 3 out of the last 4. Why? And I watched their games because teams realize get physical with USC. Hit them hard on the offensive boards and be physical with that big, strong, not strong, thin, very capable center of theirs. They're just banging on SC. And they're losing ball games 3 out of 4 because they're not physical enough. But it's the physical teams, the teams with the strong start, strong guards, the big man in the middle. They're going to be there. But a team I really like is I don't know if you watched them. They've been in every game. Is West Virginia. I like them. I like their coach. They're playing in a tough conference. They got another tough game I think coming up tonight. But I really like West Virginia going down the stretch here. They're going to be one of my top 4. I like the way they're playing. Who do you like? I mean, is it Gonzaga? I mean, we keep dogging Gonzaga that they don't play anybody. Are they better than everybody?
I think when it comes down to tournament, they're probably most likely going to get the number 1 seed overall.
Of course they are.
And I think they're going to be the first number 1 seed overall to get knocked out. And this is based on what you're saying right now. They're not playing anyone. And when the field comes down to 64, I think they're going to be vulnerable. I would, when you see my bracket, you'll see how I adjust for their style of play right now. And eventually, I think they're a decent team is going to knock them out. So and I think they're going to be the number 1 to get knocked out. Also, so normally the NIT, they'll do
has a big field.
At a big field, they're narrowing down to 16 teams.
16.
So
that's interesting. And some of those big names are going to get in there. Michigan State probably is going to end up being an NIT if they even take a bid. I mean, they can't afford to lose another game, like you said. They're on the bubble. So, I mean, it's funny. You look at a team like Oklahoma. A couple weeks ago, they were coming. They were playing great ball.
Yeah, we were talking about Lon Kruger being a coach.
And then they lose 2 games in a row to Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State beat them again last night. I mean, again, in that conference, it's amazing the clubs in that Big 12. That conference is amazing. The talent there, and I will not be surprised in the Final 8 if 2 or 3 of them are in the Final 8. It's unbelievable. And the same thing, with the Big 10. I don't see anything in the Pac-12 worthwhile. Do you?
No.
Oregon leads the conference, but and they've been improving. They got a couple of players that were out, come back. Oregon looks good. Colorado looks pretty good. USC was a pretender. They're no contender. They are not a contender. Just get physical with them and you'll beat them.
Mountain West has 1 team that's in the top 25 right now in SDSU. In fact, UNLV plays them tomorrow. Of course, UNLV right now has a losing record. This is since Lon Kruger left. It hasn't been so good for UNLV except for
it's been terrible.
Had the number 1
they
draft
can't get the right coach. The funny thing is that you're right about these big names, the Villanovas and the Virginias. I mean, they're winning games, but for them to lose 7, 8 games, it's very uncommon. And these guys, Houston's playing pretty good ball. They might be decent. It's very, very fascinating. I think we're all going to get a surprise winner this year.
I'm going to look for
I really do. And we're going to have a show. We'll have a show dedicated to the, Final 64. And that'll be fun, and we'll do the brackets every week, and we'll take it right down to the end so you can follow it. But we're really looking forward to that. We're looking forward to the women's side, and another sports. Baseball started. Spring training's going. The Dodgers just keep loading up. They got the Cy Young Award winner from Cincinnati, Trevor Bauer. He pitched 2 innings yesterday, 2 scoreless innings. The Dodgers, even in spring training, they haven't lost yet.
So the NL West, I'm actually thinking the Dodgers are going to come out. They're the most competition they'll have is with San Diego with the Padres.
Padres got a good team.
NL East, I'm looking at maybe the Mets, Nationals. The Central.
How about Philadelphia? They're due. They got the big boy on their team, Mr. Vegas.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at on paper right now what it looks like as far as, because it's more than hitting. Pitching is big when it comes to baseball, and
in the playoffs it really is.
And we've discussed it before, where how much pitchers usually outduel hitters when it matters the most. So.
Absolutely. Great pitching always beats great hitting. You know, Atlanta should have a good team again this year. The Braves look tough, right?
They do. That NL East, I think they're going to beat up each other. It's usually a tough division. I've always, being a Mets fan, growing up, I've always hated the NL East. It's just we usually get beat up a lot, especially by the Braves.
Yeah, Braves are tough. How about the Yankees this year?
I think they're going to come out of the AL East themselves, but then you can't put anything past Tampa Bay, or even maybe the Red Sox will.
Yeah, they're going to come back. They've had a couple rough years.
Quite a few,
After winning it, they haven't been good.
And I think it's part of the culture left. When Francona left and you lost that part of the culture, and then I think he went to the GM. He went to the Cubs.
Yeah.
You lose that culture too. So they were a big part of bringing them a championship, and you lose that. So it just went downhill after that.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Baseball is just so long. Are they going to have a full season of baseball this year? Is it going to be 162 games, or
no?
Are they going to play less like the NBA?
You have to play less like the NBA. It's just a matter of how many games you miss too. Like NBA right now tonight, they have a postponement with the Spurs. So
yeah. They're struggling down to the wire, but it'll be fine. They're halfway done. As you all know, we have a NBA show. We dedicate time specifically to NBA because we cannot fit as much as we like to talk about. When you talk about NBA, we can't fit it in our sports show. But look for our NBA show that it'll be coming up in a while, and please watch that. But we had a couple things. NASCAR, the young guys keep winning.
Yes, and it's like we would.
What, 24-year-old guy, 23-year-old Campbell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like every other sports league. This year in sports, with consider like with the asterisks with COVID, anything can happen, and I'm loving it. It makes it so unpredictable. And before you usually you think it's unpredictable. This year even worse. Like you're looking at names that I've never heard of before. I'm hearing now. It's
there have been 3 wins by guys under 25 years old in NASCAR. They're in Vegas this week. So that ought to be interesting, and the town will fill up, partially as much as you can with COVID.
Well, the governor opened it up to over 50%, or 50% starting today. So it's.
Are they going to have 50% fans at the racetrack this weekend?
To be honest, I don't know.
I know hockey. We had 2,600 last night for the Golden Knights. I know you Golden Knight fans loved that game last night. I saw the highlights. Right? Did you turn it off when they were down 4-2 in the
absolutely
third period?
No.
And then they tie it with 1 minute and win it in overtime.
Yes.
That guy Stone, they said, made or assisted on every single goal.
Yes.
How good is he?
At first, when they brought him over and then they paid him all that money, the thing with the Golden Knights, they were like, I would consider them not in the pedigree of like the New England Patriots when it comes to winning, but in the way they do business.
Yeah.
So I wasn't expecting them to sign Stone, and the first couple of years I was like, I know he's good, but then last night he showed why they signed him to a long-term deal, and he's
Big game.
And in fact, what they
Phenomenal.
did this season was the first season that they actually have a captain, and he was named captain of the squad, and he showed that he should be captain of the squad. And he, that last goal in overtime, I was so surprised. He was not selfish in taking that shot. What he did was he set up Pacioretty to put that goal in, and of course everybody at home last night, we were all going crazy.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, you guys are big fans, and I mean that was. And the Knights are playing great hockey, right? You think they're the best in the league, or who's the best right now? Tampa. Florida.
I do like Tampa.
Toronto's good this year.
They are, but because of the way
the Golden Knights look good.
They do look good, but it's the way we're not playing everyone in the league like we used to, and then we're also the way the league is set up. You're playing teams multiple times for series, so
3-4 games.
So you're beating up on a weak team.
Yeah,
it doesn't really count.
Right.
And the travel that we're used to going across the country, it's not there right now. So as far as like pinpoint, this is the best team. No, there are quite a few teams that are playing very well, and I'd like to see more. Let's see halfway through and where we're at, and I would expect more from the Golden Knights. On paper, they are where they're supposed to be, but they're not. The offense is not there like I think it should be.
Yeah, but they're playing well.
Yes.
And for all you Golden Knight fans, that was a great game last night. Keep enjoying it. They're doing well. Hockey's great. Hockey's in full swing, and we also enjoy hockey. We don't talk about it enough, but you know, we're really big time Golden Knight fans here, and we'll continue to promote them and talk about them and what's going on. Maybe they'll get a trade before the trading deadline, but
and they usually make a splash trade, whatever need. And I think last year one of our biggest the biggest issue was defense, and they fixed that. So, but at the end of the day, right now, I think they need to be scoring more goals, and I think it'll be addressed.
Yeah, it's fun. Again, like, you know, NBA, they're coming midway to the season, and it's we got so many sports going on, you know, and we even got, you know, PGA golf going on. And again, another young guy, Morikawa, won it. What is he, 24?
Yeah.
He's the youngest guy ever to win, you know, 2 big tournaments that quickly, besides Tiger Woods, by the age of 25.
And speaking of Tiger Woods,
a bunch of young guys.
One of the things that they did
Tiger's lucky.
one of the things that they did this week was they wore their red shirts in honor of Tiger. You know, kind of like letting the golf world know that they're thinking about him. That's pretty cool to do. You know, one of the things with Tiger that we generally don't talk about. We always talk about how great he was playing. And then, of course, his misstep in life and all that stuff, and then trying to always coming back because he played so hard. He also had injuries, so he was always coming back at some point. But one of the things that Tiger started to do now during that rehab time was teaching his son how to play golf, and you know, that's like that second act in his career, and you know, it's just
maturity.
And I loved it, you know, because it's like, as a dad, I like to do stuff with my kids, and you know, to see that's like a, you know, a proud moment. Like when I do stuff with my kids, I was like, oh, you know, so I can just imagine him not being able to do that right now. So
he was lucky.
Very lucky.
I mean, that vehicle was in bad shape.
Very bad
And
shape.
I'm familiar with that part of the highway because I lived out in that area of Southern California, and it can be treacherous. So you get to going too fast, coming down the hill, quick turns. And I can see how he could have had that accident if he wasn't familiar with it, and he was late, and he was driving fast. But
do you think guys like those should have drivers?
Well, you know, a funny thing is I heard a story that was very interesting to me about that. He didn't have a driver because of his concern for COVID. And he didn't. He generally would hire a driver, and he didn't.
Because that was a courtesy
And the reason
call.
wasn't, he said that the reason he didn't is because of COVID concerns. Isn't that interesting? So, you know, he wasn't familiar with that stretch of the road, and you know, in Palos Verdes there. I am, and it is dangerous, but thank God he's alive, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's going to be a couple years before he walks properly again. When you break that bone that attaches the foot, it's going to be a while, man. They put a lot of
pins and rods,
all kinds of stuff in there, and you know, it's.
But wishing him a speedy recovery.
Wishing him a speedy recovery, and you know, again, golf is strong and going well, and these guys really respect him. One of the things that I was so respectful of is how endearingly his fellow golfers talked about him. That he's the reason we're here. We don't give him enough credit. So I thought the respect that they gave Tiger, his fellow golfers, was really amazing.
Absolutely.
And I commend you all for doing that. It was kind of touching to me, some of the stuff.
You know,
Rory McIlroy was really like from the heart. He was really about crying when he was talking. So
and out of respect
kudos,
for him,
guys.
You know, no one wears red on Sunday because that's a Tiger. That's a Tiger. And so then, you know, that everybody that was wearing a red shirt, they had to go buy a red shirt
because
for him.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. You know, it's like
it was awesome.
And it's sometimes we never give our heroes credit when they're here. It's usually when they're gone.
Yeah.
And it was good to see that nothing other than he's injured, but he's alive, and he's able to see that, you know, and maybe that's the motivation for him to come back.
Yeah. So quick recovery, my friend. Let's finish up today with the big UFC card coming up.
Yes. So it's a big fight. Three championships.
15 fights.
15 fights. A lot of times what we do is we only watch the main card. You gotta watch the prelims. Those fighters are coming up. You watch the prelims. Those fighters, in the next few years, they're gonna be household names, and you're gonna be able to say, "Man, I watched that guy when he was so scrappy and all that stuff." But we have three championship fights this weekend.
Yeah, big card, big UFC card.
Nunes or Anderson? Who do you have? Do you think she's gonna be beaten
Nunes?
right now? Yes.
I like Nunez. She's going to continue to do what she does. I like her. She'll continue. You don't think that she's going to continue with the winning ways?
So the
Beast,
problem.
great fighter.
So the problem with me is I do like her as a person, and it's like I don't want to bet with my heart, but I think everybody, when it comes to UFC, everyone is a one punch away from losing, and
of course.
This might be like remember at one point Ronda Rousey was dominating everyone, and then she got boom.
She was it.
She got hit. So I don't know if this is the fight for Nunes.
No, I don't think so. I think that she'll continue in her winning ways. I would make that bet. By the way, for all our audience, our good friends at FanWagon, great betting site that you can have fun with it because you can bet your friends and have some friendly bets, and you can make whatever kind of bets you want to make with them. I think it's up to $1,000 or a couple $1,000s. Look at FanWagon. Go to their app, check them out. They are really heavy on this fight, so get in there, make some bets with your friends, just like this, a friendly wager. We're going to have a few friendly wagers right off the bat. He's looking at Anderson, I'm looking at Nunez, so we'll have a bet.
Yeah.
We'll go through FanWagon. So check our friends out at FanWagon and this big UFC card. And you got anything to add about those guys? They're fun, right?
Yes. And what I like about it too is like you can bet friends and family across country, and that way it's like, I'm not waiting until I see you next few months or so. I get my money right now. I put my money where my mouth is. I get it right now.
Yeah.
So that's why I love FanWagon.
It's fun, and you get bragging rights with your buddies. So
Yeah.
FanWagon is a lot of fun, and congratulations to Dexter and Chris, the two owners of that site, and they're good guys, and they'll actually make bets with you. So communicate with them. If you want to make a little side bet with them, as the guys that run FanWagon and have the bragging rights that you beat FanWagon guys, go for it.
So then we have Yan and Sterling. That's another fight this weekend.
Yeah,
Yan has the belt at 15-1, but here you have Sterling, the more experienced fighter, coming in at 19-3. What's your thoughts on it?
I'll take Sterling.
Oh, so okay.
I'll take the underdog.
Okay, and then Adesanya.
Alessandra, yeah, that guy's, what is he, 16-0, 17-0?
20-0.
20-0.
Put some respect on his.
He's a bad boy.
But that.
And he puts up, when he talks it, he walks it. That's what I like about that guy. I'm all over that fight.
I'll take Adesanya too.
That's where my major money's going.
Yeah, just the way he fights. He's a tactician, and he doesn't. He reminds me of the way John Jones was early, where he doesn't force anything. He lets the fight come to him, and I don't see him doing anything different now. And
He's
when
a bad
he plans
boy.
to fight, I think he's going to win. I'll take him.
Yeah, I'll go for him too. Anyways, watch as Jack said, there's a lot of fights, a lot of the prelim stuff people don't watch. They just want to see the big fights, but they're all big fights because a lot of these guys are up and coming or future kings and queens in the sport. So check it out. A lot of sports going on right now. It's hard to put our full show in, a 25-minute show, but we try to give you as much as we can, as much knowledge as we can about sports, give you our take on sports. It's a fun show, and thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Again, go see our friends at FanWagon, make some bets, any kind of bet you want to make. They'll help you out. And what do you want to close with today?
Thank you guys for watching. Keep us, you're engaged every week, and thank you so much for the likes and the notification and hitting that notification button.
Yeah, thank you for watching. Besides WWDBTV, you can get us at YouTube. You can also get us at Roku, Instagram, wherever you want to check it out. We're pretty complete out there. So tell your friends about us, like our show, join the site, subscribe, share with your friends, and again, have a great week. Enjoy the sports. A lot of NBA, a lot of NCAA, a lot of big games. UFC, NASCAR in Vegas, hockey continues. We got a lot going on in the sports world, and we're grateful for that. Thank you, sports world, for keeping us company. God bless. Thanks for joining us.